If you aren't new to strength training, you know that to get superhuman dip strength, like me, you can't just do dips. Dips aren't enough. And everybody that's trying to convince you that it is lying to you. Because you also need other exercises to maximize your performance. I call them support exercises. So right now, I'm gonna teach you the 3 best support exercises, starting with good and ending at the best support exercise for the weighted dips. And I'm also going to tell you 2 weakness-based support exercises, because your weaknesses may be different from my weaknesses or somebody else's weaknesses in the weighted dips. And these exercises that I'm going to teach you target those exact weaknesses that you might have. And these exercises work, not only because they helped me achieve a 130 kilogram dip at 16 years old with the body weight of 72 kilograms, but also helped students from my own educational program called Calisthenics School. Here is literally a 13-year-old kid dipping 52 kilograms using the methods that I teach. And also George went from dipping 40 kilograms to dipping 80 kilograms, literally 40 kilograms more on dips, doubling his progress in just 4 to 5 months. So this shit works. I will also explain the correct technique, how and when to implement these exercises, and also how many reps and how many sets you need to do of these exercises, so you know all of the little details to just grab these exercises and paste them into your own workout routine to maximize your progress. So let's get into it. The first good support exercise is the decline close grip bench press. This one has a special place in my heart because I really like doing it. It is like doing bench press, but you can literally bench more weight because you are angled. This is how I do it. I don't have the special decline bench. If you have a decline bench in your gym, you are such a lucky guy. You can just use that. But if you don't have one, what I suggest is, as you can see on the video, putting a roller, the foam roller, underneath your ass and putting your feet onto the bench, or if the bench is a bit too short, stacking some plates or putting a stool or whatever there to place your feet on is also a really good choice. And you want to choose a bit narrower grip, so a little bit outside shoulder width to really maximize the lower chest gains. I recommend doing 2 sets of around 10 reps. So this one isn't really for strength, because the rep range for strength is around 3 to 6 reps. But this one you do it 10 or maybe even a bit more, because you just do it to build more tricep muscle and lower chest muscle. And I recommend doing it once or maybe even twice a week, because it isn't that important as this next support exercise or the last one. The next one is really good for stability. It is the bouncing plate dips. These ones are really good. I got this idea from my powerlifting friend that used this to blow up his bench press. And I also started using it. On bench press, you do it by not putting the plates directly on the bar, but just attaching the plates with a resistance band to the bar, and that makes it really shaky, and that makes you build more stabilizer muscles. Stabilizer muscles are really important. Those are the tiny little muscle of your shoulder, the tiny muscle of your chest, that if you build those muscles, you won't only feel much more stable on the dips, but you will also be able to push more weight, obviously. So how I do it is that I just grab some really thick resistance bands. I use the 50 kilogram resistance band and I add a 20 kilogram plate. I do that 2 times to have like 40 kilograms. And then the benefit of this exercise is that you want to control it. You want to go slowly down, pause on the bottom like a hard pause. So you go down, pause, up, pause. What this does is that the weight bounces and it pulls you down at random intervals, and that builds really good mind-muscle connection, really good CNS adaptation, really good stability, and just all these things that you need to be able to dip more weight. I do this one for around 3 sets of 6 to 8 reps. And I do this one only about once a week, because although it builds stability, it doesn't build as much stability as the next exercise, which is my favorite one, which is the ring dips. Ring dips are overpowered. Everybody that wants to get better at regular dips and doesn't do ring dips either doesn't know about that exercise or is just ignorant. And when I do ring dips, I do up to 5 sets of around 6 to 8 reps. I also train it 2 or maybe sometimes 3 times a week because it's such a good exercise. What I recommend if you are just starting out with ring dips, putting them a bit narrower if you can do that. Because if you put them like on an advanced level, they should be the exact width as your regular dip bar, anchored on the top. When you anchor them closer to each other, it's a bit easier on your stability, and the farther you move them, the more shaky it becomes. And holy shit, this is also a really good exercise that helped one of my friends who felt really unstable on the bench press, because right now he benches 180 and he allocates a pretty big part to that, to the exercise that I suggested to him, which were ring dips. Because his problem was that he was literally shaking like this on the bench press. He was really, really strong, but on a competition, he failed his second and third attempt because he was just unstable and he almost threw the bar on his head. Now, let's go over the weakness-based support exercises. There are 2 most common weaknesses. The first one, which is the one that I have, it is that you fail dips on the top part. So you go down easy, you push up, and then it starts getting really fucking hard. So I incorporated band dips. It is that you literally add some weight on there and you also add a resistance band, a pretty thick one. The exact same one that I use to attach the bouncing plate, I also use for this exercise. I also recommend putting some padding on your neck so it doesn't really hurt, and anchoring the resistance band as close to your wrist as possible so the resistance band literally isn't anchored like too much forward. And I do these band dips for 3 sets of 8 reps around 2 times a week. And now, when your weakness is the bottom part of the dip, so you just go down and you just can't move it. Like, you could easily finish the top part, but if you go down too much, if you try to hit proper depth, you just can't get up at all, and you just end up going down and failing immediately. So if some of my Calisthenics School members have this weakness, what I tell them to incorporate into their workout routine are double bounce dips. It looks probably exactly as it sounds. You go down, you try to go even past the depth that you usually go to, you go up slightly above 90 degrees, then you go down into the exact same depth as before, and then you go up. That is 1 rep. And I always recommend doing 3 sets of 5 to 7 of these reps. So 1 rep is like this: down, little bit up, down, up. And you want to do 5 or 7 of them 2 times a week. And if you want to double your dips and pull-ups, as George, who I mentioned at the start of this video, make sure to check out this video. Because there I literally incorporate all of these support exercises, well, most of them, into a full-blown workout routine that you can really easily follow. It is a 3-day per week workout routine. So if you also want to focus, let's say, on the planche or any other calisthenics movements, you can also incorporate that, because you just add those things on the desired rest days. But if you want something more and you are willing to invest into your education and rapidly blow up all of your calisthenics and streetlifting skills, make sure to check the first link in the description. It's called Calisthenics School, my own educational platform where I share all of the unfiltered knowledge that I learned over 5 years of training. So go and check out all of the things that you get in there, and you will find out that the value is insane. Bye, take care, bro, you got this.